We nicknamed a girl Ghost because she was so pale. You see my skin complexion. I'm in no position to talk about somebody being pale, and I get it. To all my pale people out there, it ain't an easy life. I think about the sun the wrong way, and I get burnt. Senior year of high school, me and my buddies, we got introduced to a group of kids through our one buddy, and we were like the new friends to the group, so to speak, right? So when you're meeting people, and I'm terrible with names, so I try to do little things to help me remember their names. And all my buddies came up with this nickname for this one girl. She was so damn pale that they started calling her Ghost. Now she's cool and she's hilarious, enjoyable person to be around. It's just the complexion of her skin. And I actually think they came up with the nickname because of the Snapchat emoji. That's the little ghost. When she added me on Snapchat, I just put next to her name, parentheses, Ghost. Well, I don't remember if we were at a party or we were just hanging out, but she sees my phone and a Snapchat notification. And she's like, "Who is Ghost?" I was like, "Oh, it's you." That's what we call you. So, and she was a good sport about it. She gave me a little bit of shit for it, but it was just hilarious. And that's one thing about me, man. I've never been good at like keeping secrets or inside jokes. And honestly, I think that's just a better way to live life. Like with me, I'm going to be open and honest with you or about how I feel about you. You know where we stand at all times. And I might be a dick, I might be a little too honest, but at least you know how I feel and where we stand. I think that's just a better way to live life. You see it throughout all stages of life, but my biggest pet peeve is when you hear those people who are super nice to your face or they're super nice to somebody you know. When you hear them and they don't think you're listening or they don't know that you're around, they talk shit about you and they bash you. That type of disgenuineness is just the biggest character flaw for me. Like if I hear somebody like that, even if I think they're a great friend of mine, if I hear someone doing that type of shit, you are immediately off my list of people who I want to be around and associate with. That type of stuff just to me, that is the lowest of the low. If you're going to say something about someone or you feel some type of way about somebody, at least have the respect to say it to their face. Be man enough to say it to their face. And that's, like I said, I know I'm not sitting on here saying I'm a good person or a nice guy, but I would always rather be the person that might come across as a dick for being frank and brutally honest than be the person who everyone thinks is a nice guy, but I'm out talking shit about you behind your back all the time. That's fucked up. And that is honestly why I have no personal issue with anybody that I've ever come in contact with. But when it comes to who I want to spend my time with nowadays, there's a few people from our group from high school who to this day do that. It's probably unhealthy, but I believe life is one big social experiment. So in recent years, when we go out with that group of people, or when I've been out and we run into that group of people, if they ask me what I've been up to or what I'm doing with my career or stuff like any of those type of generic general questions you hear at the bars or when you're out with people you haven't seen in a while, I will, if it's somebody who I know talks behind my back, I'll purposely say shit. I'll purposely say shit about my life or my career or my job, whatever it is, that's not true. And I'll have like four different versions that I tell to various people who I know gossip and shit. And then when they get together, they're all saying different stuff about me. Because my thing is like I've never cared about what people think of me. I've never cared about my reputation, so to speak, because I know who I am. Those close to me know who I am and what I'm about. So why would I waste my time trying to explain myself or tell the truth to someone who I know is just going to turn around and talk shit about me or gossip or bash me behind my back? And I definitely had a chip on my shoulder about that type of stuff for a while, and that's the reason I'm telling you all is like don't stress about people who are fake or talk shit about you because that habit is something that will not change no matter how old they are, no matter what social setting they're in. There'll always be those type of people. So don't let it bother you. There's always going to be snakes in the grass, so to speak. To me, that was just even more of a point that I wanted to invest and take my time in identifying who the true, genuine people were in my life because there's been a couple times, and even in recent memory, where I've been out with friends and and you hear someone who you think is a really good friend talking shit about you behind your back, and you're just like, damn, dude, like, you don't think I can hear you right now, or whatever the reason is that you're saying that, like, that kind of fucking hurts. But at least I know now because they're not somebody that I want in that close circle of people that want to share the real version of me with and, invest time, quality time with. And it's just like, I want relationships that are genuine across the board. Friendships, significant others, business relationships. I want that shit to be open, honest, and genuine. So That's just how I prefer to operate. And if I see something, if I'm able to identify something that's fake and not genuine, I don't want that. I don't want that in my life. My advice is to everyone out there is just don't let it bother you, but be aware of it because it does. It definitely, as I've gotten older, it definitely hurts when you think you have a good friend and you hear him saying something shitty about you behind your back. But like I said, it's the awareness part that I think is important because I fully believe, I'm a pretty spiritual person, I guess you could say, but I fully believe in like good vibes and bad vibes. And I'm a good vibes only type of guy. I want positive people who are optimistic and believe in what they're doing and are genuine to people over the people who everyone thinks is a nice person, but they're really fake and talk shit about everybody. I have no desire to be around that type of energy, especially anyone who's trying to start a business for themselves or they want to go into business or anything and want to do something with a group of friends. Like make sure you've identified who the real ones are, so to speak, because that's one thing I love about the friends that I have is like you might we might not be the most cordial at times. We might communicate a little dickishly, and some people might not be the biggest fans of us, but they always know where they stand with me and my friends. We keep it 100, tell you like it is, say it to your face, and to me, that is just a standard of quality communication that I want in my life because that's another thing about friends, man. If you have friends who are telling you that you're great and you're so wonderful and you're so awesome all the time, fuck that. I want the friends who are assholes. And I know that sounds backwards, but I want the friends who are brutally honest with me. Like, nah, Tom, you shouldn't fucking date that girl. She's bad for you. Or, nah, Tom, you need to fucking get your shit together. You don't have a fucking job. Or, nah, Tom, you need to do this. Like, you need to get your shit together. And that's the thing. Like, there's a difference in listening to someone's opinion on, like, a gut instinct that you have for, like, a business idea or your job or, like, what you want to do with your life versus, like, nah, dude, like the behavior I'm seeing right now just ain't that healthier, and I think you can do better with your life. Like, there's a difference in those two things. Opinions, again, are like assholes. Everybody has one. And if you take everybody's opinion to heart and listen to it, even if it's a not genuine one or a fake news type of opinion, and you take that to heart, then you're going to go down the wrong path and turn yourself into something that you're not. There's a fine line between listening to people who actually have something of value to say and listening to people just to listen to people because you're too insecure to just be yourself and know who you are. All that to say, nicknames are hilarious. Shout out the Ghost if she watches this shit. To this day, that was one of the funniest nicknames ever. And like I said, I think it might have been funnier for me because I'm also super pale. So I was like, man, I dodged a bullet. Not getting called Ghost because she's so damn pale. So that's today's story. That's today's lesson. That was a bit of a rant today, but like I said, I'm just a big fan of keeping it 100, and I only want people around me that keep it 100 themselves. So that's today's story. Hope everybody's well. Talk sometime. Taking shots by the lake till I can't even breathe no more, see no more. I was riding around town thinking to myself, is it gonna get easier? I'll be up and away up the street and bake, but I can't even breathe no more. What's it to me? What can I see? Taking shots by the lake till I can't even breathe no more, see no more. Mic check.